Welcome, everyone, to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined, as always, by Jeff Torrey. And today we're going to keep rolling along with some auction draft content for 2023. This one is going to be some overvalued players that we're seeing right now on ESPN. So ESPN has their live draft trends out. You can go search it up. You can just search ESPN ADP. It pops up. It's great because it has all the average salaries right now for players in these auction drafts, or ESPN calls them salary cap drafts. I can't say that. I don't know. It's auction drafts, but salary cap drafts, however you want to call it, they have some values there. So we did our last episode. We did the players that we felt are undervalued. There's quite a few of those. Today we got some overvalued players. It might be a little harder to find some overvalued players, but I'm curious what Jeff has on his mind here. See if we're similar. See if we have any. We didn't overlap last time. We didn't plan it either. Maybe we do this time. We'll find out. Jeff, who's your first guy?
The first guy I'm going to talk about is someone I actually really liked last year, but you could get him for very, very cheap. This year I'm off of him, and that is going to be Damien Pierce. He currently is going as the number 14 running back. You have to pay $21.8 as the average currently in an auction draft. But I still like him. I like his running style, but the fact of the matter is he's not a burner. He needs a large amount of carries in order to really be, to produce. They're not going to score a lot of touchdowns, so that is going to be capped as well. And, they have a rookie quarterback as well. They're going to be trying to find a new identity. I'm still rooting for the guy, but I'm going to be completely staying away because I don't think he offers a whole lot of value.
I'm with you. Like, he's not even really on my radar, I would say. When I look at players and I see his price, I'm just like, no, there's just no way I'm paying that money for him. Like with some of the guys we talked about undervalued, you can get a couple guys. I'm much more likely going to get those guys, and I think they're going to outproduce Pierce. And they did. They brought in Devin Singletary, who's not a terrible running back. Yeah. He's a solid piece. And Mike Boone's there, Mike Boone's not even that bad. Mike Boone seems to always get opportunity to play wherever he goes. He's in Denver, he did okay, but Pierce is fine. He's fine. But yeah, again, I don't hate the guy. I actually, to be honest, I don't really have any feelings for him.
No,
it's just I don't care about him. So
right.
I definitely don't want to pay upwards of almost $20 for him.
Right. And he's kind of just priced out because I get that he's number one on the depth chart, but it's
a bad team.
It is a bad team. And if he was on a different team, I would like him. I like his skill set. I don't think he is elite, but I love the physicality he runs with. And I think if he was on a good team, say if he was on the Lions last year instead of Jamal, he'd be a goal line running back and he could have pay dirt. That is not the way that Houston is set up at all. So I just don't see his skill set matching with what they're going to be able to do next year.
And some of it is like, I guess, I mean, if you want to really look at it, I don't think his situation is probably not that much different than Miles Sanders, who I like, but his price is more. And it's not like a lot more, but it's enough where with that, you get, instead of getting Pierce, you get Miles Sanders, but you also then you can add Brian Robinson, and you could add Rashad Penny, and you could add Khalil Herbert. You get all those guys for the price of Damien Pierce.
Right.
That's how I like to look at it in auction. If I can get all those guys for that price, like some of those guys are going to do something. And Pierce, I just don't feel like it. I just don't love it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if someone was like, well, I like Damien Pierce, why not? And I guess my question for them would be, what is the best thing that could possibly happen with that situation? And if you're kind of like, well, $20 is kind of the best you're going to get out of him, I'm going to go with a guy that I can get more out of. Like I would rather throw 30 on someone who can be a top 10 than 20 on a guy that, hey man, he's going to be around the 25 to 30 if everything works out for him. There's no reason.
I mean, I'd rather take a chance on like three guys combined that are almost his price. Like there's just a lot of other. Alvin Kamara is $8. Jeez.
Yeah, no one
knows the situation. I know it's just
a little different.
It's just weird to see.
Yeah,
that's weird. All right, so I like that one. It's just I just don't have any feelings for the guy. I don't know. I don't care about him. So I get it. All right, so my first guy today. You know what? This one hurts. I just don't believe in this price. I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown because I like him as much as I like him. Obviously, Lions fan here. Don't like Lions fans, please don't come at me. I'm a Lions fan. I love St. Brown. I think he's a very good player. I know there's probably not a lot of options there, but I just have this hard time of trying to forking over $38 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I can't get myself to do it. I just think it's too much. When he's going for 38, I mean, Garrett Wilson's going for $5 cheaper. I want Garrett Wilson all day over St. Brown. I'm sorry. I just do. I think Garrett Wilson's a better prospect, a better player. You know what? I think he still probably has a better quarterback. As a Lions fan, that's hard to say, but it is true. There's some other guys down there too. Chris Olave is going for $18 cheaper than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Chris Olave is a really good wide receiver too. You could get Olave, compare him with Christian Watson or DJ Moore, and even get some other Marquise Brown, Dracula. You get a lot of guys for the price of St. Brown. So yeah, it's hard to say. I'm not even saying he's going to have a bad season. I'm not going to pay it. I think it's a little too much. I think it maybe should be more around 30-ish, maybe 25 to 30. I can't pay $38 for him. So how do you feel, Jeff, fellow Lions fan?
Yeah, I have a hard time getting behind that one completely. I get the sticker shock on him. I do, because in my heart of hearts, I'd be like, is he really worth that? And I love the guy. Yeah. He is relatively safe.
He is. I get it. I mean,
and if you look at the other wide receivers on the team, you know he's going to get enough targets to definitely make up for that price tag. It is, I think part of me is still just can't believe that the Lions might actually have a good offense. I know we did last year too, but it didn't feel like it all the time. And I think that's where that comes in. Anytime you get this high up, like I was trying to make I could really make a case for some of the guys above him too, of like, I just don't believe it. Like, that is a lot of money. You know, let's say you're going to pay 25% of your budget for one of these wide receivers that are above, Amon-Ra. And so in the same vein as that, you can be like, well, this, and this can happen. And who knows when the second half of the year, when the suspension is over for Williams, and maybe Gibbs starts cutting into his targets as well, coming out of the backfield or something. I still believe in Amon-Ra, but I get the skepticism.
Yep.
Because he is in the top 10, and he's not necessarily that name.
I know, and even as a Lions fan who sees him play every single week, and he's good, but man, I'm not going to pay it. So
all
right, who's your second guy?
So I feel like throughout these podcasts early in the year, you're going to either hear me say, I know I talked about him last year and I'm backing him again, or you're about to hear me completely go off. Like, I was right last year about this guy. We both were.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, but now his price tag is too much. And I don't want him. I'm also, I'm so dead set at the moment against overpaying for running backs, because I just don't think it wins you leagues at the moment, that I'm going to have to push back on Saquon. Saquon was the guy. We loved him last year because you got him for a deal, and I didn't even care if he missed a few games. He was phenomenal last year. He was unbelievable. He was great. They gave him a buttload of carries. He got 10 touchdowns rushing. He didn't do spectacular in the pass game, so there is that they could increase on. But he's going for $46 now. There's only 3 running backs that are ahead of him. And he is still on a New York Giants team I don't love. And also,
he might hold out.
Yeah, he might hold out. And he didn't want to be franchise tag. He wants a bigger contract, which sometimes that is a good thing to incentivize a player. Like, okay, contract year. It doesn't feel like contract year. It feels more like, I've been hurt many times. I'm not going to play without guaranteed money in my future.
Oh,
and
I get that.
I do.
Sure.
Oh, without a doubt. I 100% get it. And that is why I'm like, this feels like the opposite. This feels like I'm not going to run as hard as I can through the line and try to, help the Giants win.
There's some of that. He's going to be not trying to hurt himself.
Yeah, 100%. I'm already skeptical on paying that much money for a running back because anyone can get hurt at any time. Saquon feels even more so. He's been hurt multiple times in the past. I don't think he feels good about his team. They're not necessarily a contender. Pay me my money. If he holds out, everyone will be out on him, but he's the one that I look and I'm like, I would just pass over him I would go for Derrick Henry or Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, one of those guys. If I still wanted to pay that kind of money, I'd much rather go for one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. I loved Saquon last year, but I don't want to pay for it. There's all those factors: injury risk, then holdout risk. Is he going to care? Does he want to hurt himself? There's too much. Man, we're coming to this conclusion very early, but this is a pass on top running backs year, big time.
Yeah,
I don't feel we'll go through that at some point, but there's not a lot of guys I feel like, yep, for sure thing, because there's some injury risk. As much as I like McCaffrey too, injury risk, but no, I'm with you here. So, all right, my second guy. I just think these aren't players I hate. This isn't a players I hate list. This is just like, I can't do this. And I think there's too many reasons. I just think, and a lot of it ends up becoming because there's value below that I love, and I'd rather get a bunch of those guys. But I'm gonna go DK Metcalf at $26. DK, he was okay last year. He wasn't spectacular, and actually 2021 he wasn't that with Russell. Remember having an episode about that. What's going on with these guys? He wasn't that great last year. He was fine. 90 catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. It's okay. But they added Jackson, Smith, and Najigba too. They have another receiver now. They have 3 receivers to throw the ball to. They added another running back, so maybe they're going to run the ball more. Who knows? There's a lot of things there. DK is the 12th. I think he's 12th right now in price at wide receiver at $26. You know what? I don't want to do it. I don't want him for. I don't want that. I don't want him for $26. He's a good player, but I used to be a huge DK Metcalf fan. It's nothing against DK. But another thing, I still don't buy Geno.
I know. Okay.
I don't buy it.
I wanted to shift it over when you were done with the your reasons, because
I don't buy Geno.
Here's the thing. Last year we shaded them pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
And for good reason. No one thought Seattle was going to be a contender at all. They weren't a contender, but they made the playoffs. It's pretty impressive, right? Geno did a lot better than we thought he was going to. What do you chalk that up to? And not only DK, I thought Lockett was going to fall off, and he ended up being, the 13th best wide receiver. Yeah. DK was the 18th. They both did fine. But DK is still up there because he's a physical freak. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but can he add to his numbers? That's the big question. And I don't know. I don't see his numbers necessarily improving. So I do think you're overpaying for him, but I can understand. So I 100% agree with you, but I can understand the other person on the end being like, I know what, he's safe. I'm going to overpay for him because he's safe and he's a physical specimen. No, I get that argument, but I agree with your take, because I don't believe in Geno either. And I'm so sorry. I feel terrible for saying it, because Geno had a whole year where he proved us wrong. And I'm still like, nah, I don't care. I don't care what you did last year, which is completely, it is not what you should be doing as someone who's watching football and being like,
no, I didn't
buy
it when I saw it, and I still don't. Geno's ranked 14th at quarterback right now. Geno Smith is ranked 1 spot ahead of Aaron Rodgers, and then 2 spots ahead of Jared Goff. No.
Yeah, both of those guys. It makes no sense there.
I don't buy any of it.
No.
And well, I'm trying to look here. Yeah. Trying to see. But I don't buy it. There's a lot of fact. It's the numbers were okay. They're fine. Yeah. They're solid. They're not $26 for me, solid. And then you add a great receiver as well to a team that already had a couple good receivers. And honestly, they might just run the ball.
Right.
With Walker and Charbonnet. So there we go. All right. There's some overvalued players. And there's not as many maybe overvalued as they're undervalued, but it ends up being more of a I can't do it. Can't pay that price. Can't do it. Won't do it. So there we go. That is it for today. We'll talk to you guys next time.